Chinese coups uh, would have to be within the Communist Party.
Yes.
And the way that happened is that uh, the machinery of a coup in the Chinese Communist Party would have to be something like um, there is a meeting of the Politburo Standing Committee, but they forget to invite Xi Jinping. Whereupon the Standing Committee members vote him out. Um, or Xi Jinping comes to a Standing Committee meeting as scheduled, and instead of everybody bowing down and being silent and so on, as soon as he sits down and he wants to speak, somebody says, I need to make a statement first. You have made enemies out of all our neighbors, Xi Jinping. You have humiliated and abused, Indians. You have threatened Japanese. You have threatened Indonesians. You threatened, Filipinos. Uh, you made enemies of all our neighbors. All of them invite the Americans and cooperate with the Americans, and you're a bloody incompetent and get out. That's one possibility. The least likely one, because the Chinese nationalist mind is able to, transmute everything into the opposite. Like the Japanese were plotting when they were pretending to be going neutral. The American embassy was in a panic because they were going so neutral. No, it was all a pretense. It was a Japanese are very deceptive. They really weren't going neutral when we started kicking them over the Senkaku, things like that. However, it could be something else. It could be, for example, the fact that he's had this anti-corruption campaign. People have been executed by firing squad or sent to life in prison. Uh, their families were kicked out of the party residence they had and became, lived miserably and all of these things. But his sister, the billionaire sister of Xi Jinping, continues to be a billionaire sister of Xi Jinping. And it's not like she ever worked a day in her life. She did. And what happened is that a huge insurance company licensed by the state, a licensed state called Ping An, decided to offer her some shares. Billionaire. She and her husband are billionaire. So it's in the political standing committee meeting that say, you sent my third cousin. My third cousin was executed for corruption. But what about your sister? And what about your sister's children? Etc. So that could be it. But anyway, the thing is this: they hold the meeting and forget to invite him. When he shows up, they arrest him. That's how it's done. The coup in the Communist Party.
Do you think it's likely anytime in the next few years?
Well, I think he is done horrible harm to China. He, uh, in the good old days of Hu Jintao was the primus inter pares, the first among equal. He ran the Politburo. It wasn't like Mussolini or something. He was one of the guys, and he was a little more prominent than the others. There was a small gap between Hu Jintao and other people, very small. And his prime minister, Wen Jiabao, was like his friend. They were together side by side. Whereas Xi Jinping has made himself into a colossal entity. When they meet together now, as I think I told you, they everybody dutifully looks down, reading some text to Xi Jinping while he talks over their heads, and they say nothing. You watch it on CCTV, and they don't say a word. So uh, he's done, he's done fairly extraordinary. Uh, he has changed things in such a way that his removal becomes very attractive.